Hello, everybody. I want to welcome warmly our Rector of the University of Arts, Professor Marijana Gojković, together with Vice Rectors of University of Arts, Biljana Radović and Marko Miletić. I'm also very glad that we have deans of 3 national faculties, Faculty of Music, Professor Jelena Stanković, our host, Academy of Arts in Novi Sad, Siniša Bokan, and Faculty of Philology and Arts, our Zoran Komadina. Welcome, dear students. Welcome, dear colleagues. And I'm very excited because this is beginning of I may say the most important dissemination event on the DEMUSIS project, the public debate on the issue of position of musicians in society. I'm sorry, I'm hearing myself twice. Okay, now it's better. So we have, as you can see, a group of fantastic, amazing guests, national and also international, and I will be announcing them soon. But before that, I would just like to say a few words about the DEMUSIS project and about this week music or musician is present. As you probably know, the DEMUSIS project is now in its final year. It's extended due to COVID reasons, and it will end in January 2023. The project is dedicated to development of digital competencies, entrepreneurship skills, and the social awareness of academic musicians. And this week actually is oriented towards building stronger entrepreneurship skills through entrepreneurship boot camp for students that lasted from Monday till yesterday. We had a really fantastic session yesterday afternoon with students, but also to quality control and to dissemination. The event is streamed online, so I hope that our friends and colleagues who weren't able to come to Novi Sad, this is busy and exciting day in Belgrade especially, so they can watch us. So hello everybody on YouTube channel watching us, and it will be recorded, so if someone wants to watch it again, he or she will have this possibility. And now our guests will announce them. We are very proud to have representatives of different structures from the country and from abroad. So the first speaker will be Ms. Đurđijana Jovanović, Independent Counselor from the Ministry of Culture, and she will present things from the position of from Ministry of Culture. Then here is a person who is for the first time in Serbia, Eirik Birkeland, President of Association of European Conservatories and High Schools. He will share his experience as AAC President and also as Dean of Oslo Music Academy. We are also lucky to have Miletić, who is classical music curator for Novi Sad EU Capital of Culture Foundation. I missed to mention that we managed to merge this event with Novi Sad EU Capital of Culture. So this event is on Novi Sad 2022 calendar of events, which is also very important for us to be visible in this way. Then I represent Martin Perhal, Vice Rector of the Royal Conservatory in The Hague. Then we have a representative of musicians performing on the stage, Biljana Krstić, known as Bilja Bistrik also. And Nada Kolundžija was a classical pianist, famous for playing contemporary music, was supposed to join us via Zoom, but we had some technical problems. So Nada wrote a few words, and I hope you won't mind that I read her words. Last but not the least, we are happy to have our non-academic partners, representatives. So Marijana Gojković, General Secretary of Radio Television Serbia, and Nikoleta Dojčinović will talk about position of Radio Television Serbia regarding social awareness of musicians. And Dimitrije Cvetković from Mad Head Games, our reliable partner dealing with video games, and these two institutions helped us enormously. Mad Head Games in terms of student placements. Also, RTS was engaged in this area, including some other areas too. And finally, but this is a very important part of our debate, we will have 4 groups of students representing their own projects. I will not say much about this. They will have opportunity to speak by themselves, but this whole project is about students, about developing curricula, and really I was deeply emotionally touched yesterday, so how they developed, in what way they developed their abilities and their skills. Each speaker will have approximately 5 minutes, so we will try to make it dynamic also. And then we will have time for questions. You have pencils here, the DEMUSIS pencils on your chair, so you may use them to write down your questions. Or also we may have answers to online post questions. So after we finish our speeches and presentation, we will have some time for questions. And now I will start with inviting Ms. Đurđijana Jovanović with questions about Ministry of Culture and the ways that Ministry takes care about visibility and about position and about status of musicians in cultural sector in general. You will speak in Serbian, I guess, and then I will briefly wrap what I said. Dakle, Đurđijana govori na srpskom, ja ću ukratko sumirati na engleskom za koji govore engleski o čemu je bilo reči.
Kao prvo, dobar dan, hvala na pozivu i prilici da Ministarstvo kulture Republike Srbije ima priliku da transparentnije prikaže svoj rad u proteklom periodu koji doprinosi unapređenju statusa muzičkih umetnika i muzičara uopšte u Srbiji. Želim da pozdravim gospođu Nikolić, rektora Univerziteta umetnosti, dekane cenjene, naše goste iz inostranstva, a takođe i sve učesnike ovog cenjenog skupa. Ministarstvo kulture Republike Srbije je u proteklih nekoliko godina na raznorazne načine stvaralo uslove da doprinese unapređenju muzičke umetnosti kao oblasti, ali i samih delatnika u toj oblasti, kroz nekoliko segmenata. Jedan od segmenata je svakako zakonodavna aktivnost, čime su se stvarali uslovi, da kažemo u jednom administrativnom smislu, da se sprovode planirane mere i aktivnosti. Programe koje mi sprovodimo kroz 4 takozvana programska sektora, sami znate da se sprovode putem javnih konkursa na godišnjem nivou, koji se već dugi niz godina realizuju u Ministarstvu kulture i informisanja. Oni su otpočeli davne 2002. godine, znači imamo 20 godina, imamo jubilej kako ih sprovodimo. Danas je prilika da vam osvetlim i jedan instrument koji sprovodimo već dugi niz godina, za koji smatram da šira javnost nije dovoljno upoznata. Taj dokument na kome zajedno radimo sa ostalim resorima, čiji je glavni nosilac Ministarstva državne uprave i lokalne samouprave, jeste katalog radnih mesta. Katalog radnih mesta predstavlja jedan dokument na kome se nalaze opisi i nazivi svih potencijalnih radnih mesta gde pravni subjekti u kulturi, dakle ustanove kulture, da li su to u pitanju polivalentni centri za kulturu, da li su to pozorišta, koncertne dvorane, galerije i bioskopi, mogu naći zaposlenje svi oni zainteresovani studenti po završetku svojih umetničkih fakulteta. Ovaj dokument, na našu veliku radost, rađen je u saradnji sa Univerzitetom umetnosti u Beogradu i sa našim fakultetima, na taj način što smo mi dali priliku da partnerskim odnosom dođemo do naziva zanimanja, do opisa poslova i uslova za zapošljenje. Studenti treba da znaju, a smatram da u dovoljnoj meri ne poznaju, mogućnosti koje su sve pravni subjekti i činioci potencijalna njihova radna mesta, to jest na tržištu rada gde sve mogu biti prepoznati. Najnovija verzija kataloga radnih mesta biće uskoro usvojena kad se formira vlada. Nju donosi Ministarstvo državne uprave i lokalne samouprave kao zakonski akt. Mi smo učestvovali u tome. On se kontinuirano unapređuje. Ja vas zaista sve molim zajedno, sve zainteresovane, da nam pomognete da u budućnosti unapredimo još više opise, nazive i uslove zapošljenja svih mladih umetnika koji se školuju u Republici Srbiji. Još jedna stvar koja je isto tako važna jeste da je Ministarstvo kulture Republike Srbije formiralo jedno telo koje je proizvelo puno zakonodavnih akata koje se odnose na samostalne umetnike, njihov status u društvu, a on je sistemski rešen kroz reprezentativno udruženje u kulturi. Tako da naši svršeni studenti, vaši i naši svi zajedno, imaju priliku da po završenim fakultetima imaju mogućnost, da kažemo, 3 modela. Da ostanu samostalni umetnici, da samostalno stvaraju i kreiraju, da se zaposle u nekoj ustanovi kulture ili da imaju kombinovani model. U slučaju da se opredele za samostalnu delatnost, važno je da znaju da imaju priliku da se kroz sistem reprezentativnih udruženja u kulturi mogu svoje socijalne statuse da regulišu na pravi način. Smatramo da nije u dovoljnoj meri vidljiva ta mogućnost i smatramo da trebamo zajedno da radimo na tome da edukujemo buduće svršene studente na mogućnostima koje im država pruža zapravo u ovom trenutku, a za koje smatramo da ne znaju u dovoljnoj meri. Pored toga, pored subjekata u kulturi koji se odnose na pravne subjekte u smislu osnivača, država Srbija ima na sva 3 nivoa vlasti, i na lokalnom nivou i na pokrajinskom i republičkom, dakle, osnovanih na stotine ustanova kulture. Najbrojnije su svakako polivalentne ustanove kulture koje se različito zovu. Neko ih zove centri za kulturu, neki kulturni centri, neki domovi kulture, neki kulturno-obrazovni centri. Sve u svemu, te polivalentne ustanove kulture su u suštini najveći nosioci kulturnog života Republike Srbije. Stvarajući katalog radnih mesta koji smo osvetlili na početku, sad je važno reći da svaka od tih ustanova kulture u budućnosti će imati priliku da zapravo zaposli sve studente sa svih umetničkih fakulteta, jer se radna mesta i opisi poslova nalaze u pomenutom katalogu. To nam je jako bilo važno zbog tržišta rada, da svi studenti mogu u resoru kulture da nađu svoje mesto pod kapom nekakve ustanove. Pored toga, kad su reprezentativna udruženja u kulturi, znači ako se studenti ne zaposle, ne ostvare svoj status, radni status u ustanovi kulture, značaj učlanjenja u reprezentativno udruženje je jako važan. To se najbolje videlo u periodu COVID-a, kad smo imali situaciju gde mnogi nisu imali svoje sopstvene primanja. Ministarstvo kulture i informisanja je uspelo, možda ne u dovoljnoj meri, ali ipak preduzelo je mere da se finansijski pomognu i socijalno obezbede samostalni umetnici. Mi ćemo naravno u budući raditi na tome i unapređivati ceo sistem, ali naravno ne možemo sami i partnerski odnosi sa svim činiocima i javnošću doprineće da se ova oblast u perspektivi unapredi.
Thank you very much. Mnogo hvala Đurđijani. So I will just shortly wrap up in English what she said. It was very informative and very with lots of details, particularly for students who may be thinking about trying to find a job in the field of culture. Ministry is an umbrella institution dealing with administrative and law issues, and there are 4 program sectors. Some of them are better known than the others. For example, projects funded by Ministry of Culture are better known than other activities of the ministry. One of very important initiatives that is currently going on is Catalog of Jobs, which is done in cooperation with the University of Arts and other higher education institutions in arts in Serbia. And this document contains all types of jobs with all descriptions. And this document will be adopted by government as soon as it's formed in Serbia. Another very important activity of the ministry is related to independent artists and possibility that independent artists have in Serbian society with lots of legislative possibilities and acts. Some of them were shown during COVID crisis. Good news for people studying in the field of culture and arts is that cultural centers or institutions dedicated to different activities in the field of culture will have the possibility to employ, or obligation perhaps, to employ people educated at art institutions, higher institutions. And finally, representative unions in culture are also supported by the Ministry of Culture. You also mentioned gradovi u fokusu.
Da, ako imam vremena.
Cities in focus, yes, we would like to hear about that also.
Program Gradovi u fokusu koje Ministarstvo kulture Republike Srbije sprovodi već nekoliko godina, uskoro će biti i mali jubilej, zapravo je značajan za buduće radnike u kulturi, zato što stvara uslove infrastrukturnim osposobljavanjem kapaciteta lokalnih samouprave i njihovih ustanova kulture, s obzirom da su u prethodnom tranzicionom periodu oni bile prilično devastirane. Ako znamo činjenicu da imamo 173 lokalne samouprave u Srbiji, iako ona zapravo u prosjeku ima 3 do 5 ustanova kulture i da smo u prethodnih 8 godina uložili preko 1,5 milijardu dinara u adaptaciju, rekonstrukciju, opremanje i, kako bih rekla, u svakom smislu sređivanje ustanova kulture kroz preko 150 projekata, onda to uliva nadu da će ti centri za kulturu, arhivi, muzeji, biblioteke, pozorišta, koncertne dvorane, bioskopi, galerije moći da budu mesto stecište ne samo programa, već i mesto zapošljavanja umetnika, a između ostalih i muzičara, da kažemo, bilo da su stvaraoci, bilo da su delatnici. Tako da možemo da se pohvalimo da smo u prethodnom periodu podigli stepen infrastrukturnih kapaciteta lokalnih nivoa sigurno za nekih 20 do 30%. Naša je procena da ćemo u narednih 10 godina, budemo li ovom dinamikom i rastom opredeljenih sredstava u budžetu, više od pola ustanova kulture u Republici Srbiji osposobiti u punom kapacitetu za njihov rad. Eto.
Hvala puno za ovu informaciju. Briefly, another initiative of the ministry is Cities in Focus, dedicated to local municipalities. There are more than 170 local municipalities in Serbia with their cultural institutions not just cultural centers, but museums, archives, and other institutions. So in the last couple of years, a lot of funds have been raised and given to these institutions. And the plan of our Ministry of Culture of the Republic of Serbia is to empower all these institutions, in about 50% of these institutions in next 2 or 3 years.
Ne baš 2-3 godina, ali u narednom periodu.
In next period, in next couple of years, yes. Đurđijana, mnogo vam hvala.
Hvala vama na prilici.
So as I said, if there are any questions, we will leave them for later. That also is important for other members of the debate, so if you want to ask something to Đurđijana or Eirik, please do. And now it's my great pleasure to announce Eirik Birkeland, President of Association of European Conservatories, who will share his experience related to position of musician in society with us. Eirik, the floor is yours. Mike is yours.
Thank you so much, Ivana. Honored hosts, students, colleagues, dear friends. It's a great pleasure to be invited to Novi Sad, the European Capital of Culture 2022, and its stimulating conference. As one of 9 partners in the DEMUSIS project, it has been very inspiring to the AC to experience the strong development of this project and the convincing results achieved through collaborative work from all participants, institutions, companies, forward-looking experts, and creative students. The AEC represents 300 member institutions in Europe and beyond. We work for quality enhancement and renewal within higher music education. We understand and support music and art education together with cultural participation as central contributors to the quality of human life and inclusive societies founded on democratic values. The key elements addressed in DEMUSIS, entrepreneurship, digitization, and social commitment, are all high on AEC's agenda. In our project AEC SMS, Strengthening Music in Society, the academic paper, The Musician as Maker in Society, argues that higher music education should not only react to societal developments, but aim at proactively shaping and promoting these developments. The institutions should prepare our students for professional careers where they, through their vision and identities, musical craft and artistry, will be able to fill a socially committed role as makers in society. The European landscape of higher music education and the labor market for our graduates is different from country to country. This fascinating diversity gives us excellent reasons for collaborating, for sharing our experiences, and learning from each other without aiming to develop only one recipe that should fit all. DEMUSIS is an outstanding example of this kind of international collaboration. And let us remind ourselves that in our work for the developing curricula with increased social relevance, we are all dependent on updated information from surveys on our former students' careers in society. In the face of implementing this curricula, most of us will meet some challenges. Allow me to share some experiences from my home institution, the Norwegian Academy of Music in Oslo, where I, over the years, have been working in different roles as a main instrument teacher and chamber music teacher, as leader of the committee of our Master of Music performance programs, and as rector for 2 election periods. Also, at our institution, we have been working on modernizing curricula by adding on subjects such as entrepreneurship and digitization, with the aim of preparing our students for a stronger social commitment in their future work as artists in society. Our first move has been to establish these subjects as elective courses. The next has been to make these courses mandatory for all. So far, so good. But after these moves, we have found it necessary also to adjust the key subject in our music performance curricula, the main instrument teaching. Not least in these lessons, creativity, critical thinking, and social commitment should be stimulated. In these lessons, the student should be given a real opportunity to take ownership to their preparations for the professional career. Not surprisingly, these achievements take time, since they entail change in how we think and work. I will point out two key challenges we have met. The first challenge has been to establish suitable structures for teacher collaboration. I think we all agree that one-to-one tuition represents a crucial quality for high music education. But since this way of teaching is very expensive, it is repeatedly put under pressure. It means that we really need to safeguard it. At the same time, we must open doors to this teaching and these teachers. Too often, it appears as a private praxis, with teachers only contributing to the institution's artistic or academic community to a very limited degree. We must invite them all to take part at collaborative arenas and in collegial projects, where they can share and learn from each other and from experts with other competencies. We know at the same time that all our students need opportunities to learn from other teachers than the all-knowing professor, and that they need to develop patterns for learning from each other. To develop a holistic learning environment in our high music education institutions, we must establish open arenas where our teachers and students can meet, work, and reflect together. At home in Oslo, we have tried to develop this through a gentle approach, where a growing number of volunteers have participated in collaborative work. And yes, we have achieved positive results. But we have, after all, realized that besides keeping up a continuous dialogue on this within the institution, we also need to make necessary adjustments in the teachers' working schedules and include a percentage of mandatory institutional and developmental work that opens for collaboration and sharing of knowledge and reflections with colleagues and students. The other challenge I will mention is to achieve pedagogical renewal within the one-to-one teaching itself. We know the role of the master teacher is carried out in very individual ways, often with lots of authority, not leaving very much space for the students' opinions or preferences. Our ambition is to make the methods of the master teachers more flexible. The value of this is well documented in research as well as in some of AAC's developmental projects. The master teacher should indeed still be allowed to teach, but also be able to take the role of a coach or a mentor, leaving the floor to the student, asking open questions, and working as a catalyst for creativity, independence, and critical thinking. The students' entrepreneurial mindset should be stimulated to grow from their own creative artistry. Dear all, the DEMUSIS project addresses vital elements in the renewal of higher music education. I have now been sharing some thoughts of the importance of also including the main subjects in these achievements. Allow me to predict that those conservatories, music academies, or Musikhochschulen that also can develop a learning environment based on collaborative teachers, student-centeredness, and critical reflection will join the forefront of forward-looking higher music educational institutions in Europe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eirik, for sharing your experiences. I mean, AEC concern for musicians in contemporary society, and also your experiences from Academy in Oslo, including challenges and prediction. I hope it will become true. Just one short question. I was informed that the first entrepreneurial boot camp was held actually on your initiative in Oslo. So what were your experience then, 10 years ago? Can you remember?
Yeah, I can remember. It was really a fascinating experience. We also got René Juncker from The Hague coming to us and opening possibilities for our students. And I think not least within the classical department, it was a new experience to really produce concerts and events in such a speed, because we are used to practice for hours, days, weeks, months before we dare to present anything, because everything should be perfect. But somehow this puts the focus point more on the audience, on how to connect to the audience. And I think we learned that this is not just about perfection. There are other dimensions into this. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And now something about Novi Sad, European Capital of Culture, and lots of events related to music, some of them pure perfection from my experience, and some of them dedicated to developing social awareness. So now I'm inviting Marko Miletić to say something about improving visibility or visibility situation regarding musicians related to Novi Sad Cultural Capital.
So I apologize in advance for all mistakes I will make. As a member of team of Foundation Novi Sad 2022, I actually find out about so many funds out of our country, even if we are not part of European Union. They're open for our artists, musicians especially, you know, and beside of funds we have in our country, like we heard. And this is actually my biggest impression from preparing of this representation of this city as a European Capital of Culture. And actually I think that these opportunities of fundraising and making bigger visibility of our artists are much bigger than we actually use. And this is the biggest impression here. And actually I want to encourage young people, young artists, especially musicians, to follow a little bit this schedule of European Capital of Culture, because in the beginning of setting up all this calendar for this year, I think people didn't accept this so well, and they didn't have good approach to this system, because whole program is in a way part of some thematic platforms or we actually used art and music to send some messages, strong messages, which is very important. And actually this is what composers did always. And it's very important for us not to see us as a musicians just as a people who will make a concerts as a larpulartism in a way, you know, just to play beautiful music and to make some emotion for now. But it's very important to make some strong concepts, and after our concerts to send people to their homes with some thoughts, to think about many things. And actually this is what was goal of European Capital of Culture. And my job actually as a curator of classical music was to find artists, to find ensembles, orchestras, and shows which are the best to send some kind of message, whether to message about gender equality, or about peace, or about community, about ecology, or something like this. And actually, this is what was challenging in the beginning, but after this first wave, I think we succeed, and people actually just find a way and find out how this is not so difficult. This is actually very easy, because this is what actually artists, composers, writers actually did for whole life. And what I want to say last is that I really encourage young people to set very defined goals for their products, for what they want to sell and how to approach to audience. And when they have these products they believe in, they should research, make some kind of research about fundraising, because really we don't use all opportunities we have. We had so many opportunities from these funds abroad that we didn't use enough, that this is actually my awareness in a way that we are a little bit too conservative, that when we have music classes or something like this, we think that if we play very well, or if we write very well, that this is enough for our careers, but this is not true anymore. There's great artists who are great violinists or pianists. They don't have such great careers like some other pianists who are not such a great in this way of playing, like they are good in representing and approaching to audience. So this is what we should pay more attention, and actually we should make also some kind of master classes, or even maybe some new classes on our academies of making these projects, because this is to make some student play very good, you know, is just one element of making career. So everything after playing good is how to sell this, what you play, how to approach the audience. This is also very important, and I think we can make so many things more about this, and I think that young people should, I encourage young people to be more active in this way, and I'm absolutely sure that there is enough place and opportunities for them to succeed, and even if they don't succeed first time, probably this is a sign to rethink about their ideas and these products, and I'm sure this should be just educational, and they will be better next time, and just don't give up. There is place for everybody. Thank you.
It was great contribution, Marko. Thank you very much, and your English is perfect, if I may say, as non-English speaker. Just a short question for you, knowing that you have a classical academic music education and that you're active musician. How did these two worlds of being curator at this huge cultural event or institution or umbrella, and your experience of academically educated musicians, how did they meet or mingle?
Actually, I see this as the only logical thing, actually, you know, because I'm lucky that I started with some kind of entrepreneurship very early, because when I was on my master's degree, I renewed this orchestra Camerata Academica Novi Sad, and through this orchestra, by the years, I learned a lot about organization also. And at this moment, when we started to think about Novi Sad as a European capital of culture, actually I was in some way. I was also professor on academy, professor of cello. So I have this three component, which is very important. European capital of culture is very important for young people. I'm in contact with my students all the time, and I need to think what is very useful and good for them. And also, it's very important for people who are into these kind of things, really to know something about organization. This is very, very important for economical reason first, and also to make some projects that you can really make something out of this, you know. Sometimes, you know, you have wishes that are not really possible, you know. And when you have experience with all three these things, I think this is what helped me to go through this project, and I hope I did successfully. But I am very proud that music actually is a huge part, actually biggest part of program of European Capital of Culture, and classical music is the biggest part of this music program. So I think we did a good job when it comes to this program, when it comes to music actually.
So good to hear this from someone inside. It's great, thank you very much. Well, now I can invite another cellist who happens to be vice rector of the Royal Conservatoire The Hague, Martin Perhaal, to share his experience related to our question with us.
Thank you, Jovana. And dear colleagues and friends in Novi Sad, good afternoon. I'm very grateful and honored to be here for this important meeting and to share some observations about what has been done in DEMUSIS. First, I would like to say something about the project. Some of you may know that I'm a dinosaur in EU project management, and I've seen already many projects come by. And I can say that this one is one of the best ones I've seen so far. Why? First of all, because of its vision, because it addresses all these issues that are important for Serbian institutions, yes, but in fact for all institutions in higher music education. And then what it has achieved, its impact, it has addressed all these subjects in such a concrete way. It has made new study programs. It has changed hundreds of courses. It has looked into new pedagogical approaches, new ways of linking training to the profession through internships, creation of several new lifelong learning courses that professionals will be able to access for their professional development. That's a lot. And it shows that when the project is over, these things will continue. So it has a unique track record in terms of sustainability. And then it's perfect management. The project has been excellently organized in so many ways. If I could give you an example, I have never seen an EU project that has such a dynamic presence online through its website and social media. So I would like to thank the team, Ivana, Dušanka, and Milena, for this enormous success. And actually, I would like to ask you to give them a big applause for their... Now, the main outcome is not just described through this impressive list of achievements, but I see the main outcome as a call for action. A call for action to public authorities, to higher music education institutions, but also to musicians, the music professions, and to the societal partners to continuously consider how we can indeed increase the visibility and relevance of music and musicians in our society. This morning, Paul Kranen spoke about how its strive for excellence as an independent art form may have alienated music from societal developments, and how it seems that new generations of musicians are increasingly wanting to explore how they can make a meaningful contribution to society. And I think we're going to see some nice examples from the students in the boot camp. But let us for a moment consider the big question of why we do what we do and why it is so important. I'm not a philosopher, I'm just a cellist, but I do believe we always have to consider why music and therefore conservatoires are needed in today's society. In a way, for us musicians, the answer to the following question may be simple. Why do we do music? Because we must. We can't help it. The famous expert on art education, Sir Ken Robinson, describes very well how we get into becoming artists. We have to be out of our minds, as he says, and we have to find our element and our tribe to pursue our art. Maybe you know this story, but Robinson tells the story of a small child drawing a picture in art class. The teacher asks what the child wants to draw. The child says she wants to draw a picture of God. The teacher smiles and replies that that's impossible because no one knows how God looks like. The child looks up and replies, "They will in a minute." As Robinson points out, only a child or an artist has that combination of innocence, confidence, creativity, and clarity of expressive intent. For outsiders, the importance of conservatoires could be somewhat more complicated to understand. One of our Canadian colleagues makes this wonderful comparison with the world of medicine. We all agree medicine is extremely important and no one would ever doubt the relevance of medical schools. So the line that seems to work for people to raise money for medicine is, give us money and we'll save your life. In fact, modern medicine has done great things, but if you consider it, it also still has a 100% failure rate. Our line, give us money and we'll play at your funeral, doesn't sound that good. But it is an interesting social reality that we in music are asked regularly to give our services for some worthy, usually medical cause. The headline usually reads like this: Musician X raises money for cancer research. What kind of society might we imagine where the headline could read, cancer researchers raise money from music? So what our Canadian colleague says to his students is this: if this were a medical school, you and everyone would expect you to have taken your studies extremely seriously, because some night at 2 a.m., someone will come into your emergency room with a life-threatening condition, and it will be up to you to save their life. Well, dear colleagues, some morning at 8 a.m., a child is going to step into your classroom or your community music project, starved physically and emotionally. At 8 p.m. is going to walk into your concert hall. Someone is going to walk into your concert hall and bring you a mind that is confused, a heart that is overwhelmed, a soul that is weary. And it will be up to you and how well you exercise your craft to save that child or that person, and even if only for a moment, to bring them out whole. Mastering music, whether through creation, performance, or research, is the work of a lifetime. We expect our students to do more than exercise their musical skills. We should expect them to play a role in healing this planet. So, as I said, a call for action. A call for action for governments and public authorities to involve music as a vital tool to address the big societal themes we're all facing. A call for action to higher music education institutions to no longer hide behind their narrow focus on artistic excellence, but design flexible study programs that will give students the opportunity to explore what their contribution to society could be without compromising artistic excellence. A call for action to the AEC to continue putting these issues high on the agenda, and I totally agree with the comments made by Eirik about involving the teachers. Obviously, they must play an important part in all these developments. A call for action to societal partners. This is really essential. We can think up all kinds of roles for musicians in different societal contexts, but if the societal partners, and I mean sectors in health, social issues, education, will not see the benefits, we will never succeed. So we need cooperation there. And then finally, a call for action to musicians to engage with new forms of performance and societal service. Dear friends, for me and my colleagues at the Royal Conservatoire, it has been an honor, a pleasure, and most importantly, a great learning experience to be a partner in DEMUSIS. Conservatoires tend to avoid change processes. This is why they're called conservatoires. It is through projects such as this one and the developments you have put into motion that a platform for change has emerged. I thank you, and I'm looking forward to discussing how we continue our collaboration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Martin, for broadening and then also focusing focusing our topic today. It was really fascinating. And now I would like to invite Biljana Krstić to say something about her experience regarding her position as active performer in Serbian society. She will speak in Serbian, so I will make brief conclusion in English.
My English is not so good, zato ću ja pričati na srpskom. Želim sve da vas pozdravim, pre svega da zahvalim Ivani na pozivu i da vam nešto iz svog iskustva u stvari ispričam. Ako je nije baš tako malo, ja sam na muzičkoj sceni od 1975. godine, dakle skoro 50 godina. U Radio Beogradu sam radila kao muzički urednik skoro 40 godina i evo 10 godina posljednjih radim na Kolarčevom univerzitetu, držim vokalnu radionicu Bistrik, gde dolaze mladi pevači iz čitave Srbije i radimo jedan vrlo specifičan program. Dakle, moje klasično muzičko obrazovanje mi je nekako otvorilo razna vrata. Naravno, muzika je u prvom planu. Ono što je meni bilo interesantno, da sam bila i sa ove i sa one strane muzike, dakle, ocenjivalo se sve ono što sam ja radila i ocenjuje se i danas u radu sa mojom grupom Bistrik, a ja sam bila u prilici kao muzički urednik u stvari da ocenjujem sve ono što dolazi do mene i što mi se, eto, učini recimo kvalitetnim, dobrim, zanimljivim. Ja sam to vrlo rado u programima Radio Beograda, u specijalizovanim tim našim emisijama koristila i radovala se svaki put kada čujem nešto zaista izuzetno i dobro. Dakle, svaki od ovih poslova je veoma inspirativan bio za mene. Hoću da kažem, recimo Radio Beograd, kada sam se zaposlila u Radio Beogradu, bilo mi je zanimljivo to što smo bili jedna mala porodica, ekipa, kada se radi emisija. Dakle, tu je bio i reditelj, i organizator, i voditelj, i autor projekta, i muzički urednik. I mi smo svi u stvari disali zajedno. I to je jedna prelepa priča. Meni je to recimo nešto što je onako ostavilo najjači utisak u Radio Beogradu svih ovih godina kada smo radili te noćne programe ili odvojene emisije, sada specijalizovane, opet kažem. Na kraju moje karijere u radiju radila sam jednu divnu emisiju Izvorišta, muzika koja je u stvari promovisala muziku sveta. Dakle, to je world music. I nekako sam se najteže od nje odvojila, zato što sam tu bila kompletan autor, već dovoljno stasala da mogu da budem i voditelj, i muzički urednik, i urednik. Dakle, to je jedan divan posao i voljela bih da vam preporučim, ako jednog dana budete želeli da se bavite time, samo da vam kažem da ćete beskrajno uživati. Drugi moj posao, u stvari uz posao u Radio Beogradu, ja sam godinama bila na muzičkoj sceni. U početku je to bila sam u pop vodama, da kažem. Prva moja grupa Suncokret i Bora Đorđević, koji je vodio tu grupu, doživjela je zaista veliku slavu. Mi smo u toj nekoj akustičarskoj priči bili baš dosta poznati i uspešni. Ono što je bilo važno, opet tu, takođe smo bili porodica. Bora je radio sve poslove vezane za same koncerte, promociju koncerata i komponovao je, dakle bio je kompletan autor i bilo je jako lepo isto raditi u grupi i biti deo takvog tima. Ja sam bila tu zadužena za vokalne aranžmane i to mi isto bilo veoma zanimljivo. Sledeća grupa je bila Rani mraz sa Đorđem Balaševićem i to je bilo jako zanimljivo i interesantno. Potpuno jedan drugačiji rad. Tu nije bilo mnogo višeglasnog pevanja, inače ja to obožavam, volim. Ja sam dugo pevala u horovima raznim i kod Dare Matić-Marović i u horu našem Fakulteta muzičke umetnosti. I to je nešto što sam iskoristila recimo u radu sa grupom Bistrik. Bistrik postoji 20 godina i ove godine slavimo jubilej. Veoma sam ponosna na moju grupu, pre svega to su moje kolege sa Fakulteta muzičke umetnosti i moje kolege iz muzičke redakcije Radio Beograda 1. Mi smo napravili grupu od, mislim da nas je bilo u početku negde 11, sada nas je 9. Ono što je jako zanimljivo i meni vrlo važno, govorili smo istim jezikom. Dakle, nismo imali nekih nesuglasica, da li kada su u pitanju aranžmani ili uopšte gostovanja i sve gde god da smo bili smo zaista tim. Upravo govorim o tom timskom radu koji meni mnogo znači, možda nekome to toliko ne znači. Ja sam prvi put solista u stvari bila sa Bistrikom, počela svoju solističku karijeru pravo sa Bistrikom. Opet da kažem da ovo muzičko obrazovanje klasično mi je mnogo pomoglo u radu sa Bistrikom, jer mi radimo jedan vrlo specifičan program, tradicionalne pesme negde stilizujemo. U stvari, ja volim da kažem kako Bistrik muzički folklor prevodi u savremenu umetnost. I zaista u našoj muzici možete naći dosta elemenata iz raznih žanrova, a nekako se najviše okrećemo u umetničkoj muzici. Postoji jedna anegdota kada smo snimili jedan album, a cappella album Izvorište, jedna novinarka je rekla savršeno napravit ćemo jedan divan intervju, izađe intervju naslov, Bilja Krstić je snimila novi album, a cappella album Izvorište, snimila je fantastičan album bez muzike. Pozovem je naravno i kažem, molim te, samo mi objasni kako to bez muzike, pa u pevanju najviše muzike ima. Mislila si bez instrumenta. I ona kaže, pa da, ali mi to tako kažemo, već kada nema te muzike, znači to je bez muzike. Tako da, svašta smo nešto doživljavali u ovom nekom našem bavljenju muzikom i na neki način mislim da smo i uticali i edukovali kako i neke novinare, tako i publiku. Navikli smo našu publiku, na samom početku je malo bilo teže kada smo krenuli 2000. godine, da ih priviknemo na ovo što radimo. Znate šta, uopšte stilizacija tradicionalne muzike je veoma zahtevna i vrlo je to jedan odgovoran posao. Kao što je rekao Bela Bartok, mađarski veliki kompozitor i etnomuzikolog, nema težeg zadatka nego staviti pred kompozitora da obradi, da stilizuje tradicionalnu pesmu. Uvek smo se trudili da sačuvamo ono što je srž pesme, a da opet sve to negde stavimo u neki okvir koji će biti bliži ovom nekom vremenu i bliži narodu i da uopšte muziku približimo, muziku dalekih vremena približimo sadašnjem vremenu. A ono na što sam najponosnija u radu sa Bistrikom jeste to što smo uspeli u program da ubacimo i da se malo više pozabavimo i nekim stvarima iz oblasti umetničke muzike, dakle ono što smo ipak studirali, tako da se u našem repertoaru nalazi pesme u stvari iz horske literature koje smo obradili, naravno to je Stevan Mokranjac, to je Kozar, to je recimo Prošeta majko 9 godina iz 15. rukoviti i to se pokazalo kao nešto da je fantastično. Kao što smo isto i uradili, Miki Stanojević i ja iz Bistrik orkestra, kada je u pitanju filmska muzika i za taj film smo i dobili Grand Prix, najveću nagradu na Sofestu za film Branio sam mladu Bosnu, gde smo pored autorske muzike naše u stvari iskoristili jedan deo Tebe pojem, dakle himne molitve. Naravno, to je bilo na neutralni slog i tako dalje, prilagođeno filmu, onako kako to inače i treba. Sve u svemu htela sam da kažem, toliko ima izazova da ljudi koji su u klasičnom muzičkom obrazovanju zaista nađu načina i da pronađu nešto što će im biti zanimljivo i da posao koji rade u stvari im bude ne samo radost, već i igra. Jer muzika i jeste čarolija i mislim ona je najuzvišenija kreacija duha i trebalo bi svi da budemo jako srećni što smo imali prilike u životu, eto da budemo sa tim darom na ovom svetu. Eto, toliko od mene. Ja sam kratka bila.
Hvala, Biljana. So I will just recapitulate what Biljana said about her experience in music since 1975, so almost 50 years. She had lots of different roles dealing with music, working in Radio Belgrade, and also working as a performer. During the last 10 years, she's leading a vocal workshop, Bistrik, with lots of members and lots of challenges, if I may say. So these different roles included participation in pop groups, very famous pop groups, and continuous singing in different ensembles, including choirs, choir of the Faculty of Music and other choirs. And as a crown came her work with group Bistrik, celebrating jubilee of 20 years this year. She also told a lot about relationship with audience and about raising awareness of the audience of how sophisticated the work with traditional music is. I may have just one additional question for you. Na koji način je akademsko muzičko obrazovanje koje propustila sam, zapravo ima i naša draga Đurđijana iz ministarstva kao završeni student Fakulteta muzičke umetnosti, na koji način je obrazovanje na fakultetu pomoglo da se ostvarite u svim tim tako raznovrsnim ulogama čiji je zajednički imenitelj ljubav prema muzici?
Na samom početku rekla koliko mi je zaista pomoglo u radu sa Bistrikom, nekako najviše tu, jer sam tu osetila upravo kompletnu tu neku energiju koju smo svi imali, jer smo svi, kažem, školovani muzičari, imali smo tu jednu istu misao, zajedničku ideju i čitava ta priča, koliko god da je tradicionalna muzika i zanimljiva, inspirativna, mnogim muzičarima i za obradu. Nama je posebno to bilo veliko zadovoljstvo i igrali smo se upravo i sa instrumentima, i tradicionalnim i modernim instrumentima, igrali smo se i sa žanrovima, ali smo uvek gledali da zaista ono što smo i naučili u stvari na fakultetu, posebno na časovima muzičkog folklora kod profesora Dragoslava Devića, da zapis zaista treba da ostane koliko god je moguće u nekom originalnijem obliku. Naravno, možemo ga nešto menjati, ali moramo poznavati odličnu stilistiku i uopšte harmonski taj neki sklop da se mnogo ne menja i tako dalje. Dakle, apsolutno jeste mnogo pomoglo klasično muzičko obrazovanje. Fakultet muzičke umetnosti mi je doneo puno radosti i puno znanja i ja sam to maksimalno, mislim, iskoristila. I samo još ovo da kažem, sa mladim pevačima, ovo što radim na Kolarcu, to je u stvari polifono izvođenje tradicionalne muzike, koje nije baš toliko karakteristično za naše podneblje, ali to je nešto što pokušavamo u stvari da naš srpski i etnomuzikološko u stvari nasleđe i naš folklor napravimo sa jednom umetničkom linijom, a opet da to bude drugačije, naravno da to ne liči na bugarske horove, ali je vrlo slično. Po tom principu smo radili sa našim etnomuzikologom Mikanom Obradovićem. Dakle, ipak je to divno kad imate celu tu ekipu i onda, mislim, svako ono što najbolje ume, može i da, u stvari da sve od sebe. Dakle, jeste to velika ljubav, pre svega prema tradicionalnoj muzici, ali i prema muzici uopšte.
My question was related to her academic music education at the Faculty of Music and different roles she had during her career. And Biljana stressed out the fact that many members of BISTRIC are actually classically, academically educated musicians, so they didn't have many disputes about how to work with traditional music. And she also spoke about these new tendencies to make, to use traditional Serbian traditional melodies in polyphonic manner, but with a strong tendency to be unique, to make it to make it unique. Thank you very much again. And now I will read comments of Kolundžija. She wrote about position of musician in society, so Nada wrote in Serbian. I will read in Serbian and then briefly translate in English. Govorit ću o svojim ličnim iskustvima kao pijanistkinja i izvođača savremene muzike danas i nekad. Ono što je konstanta, to je lepota naše profesije od osmišljavanja programa, njegove pripreme, pa do vrhunca javnog nastupa na sceni. O preprekama koje nas čekaju ne razmišljamo, iako realizacija samog projekta zahteva dosta rada koji nema veze sa umetnošću. Govorit ću o obezbeđivanju sredstava za nastup, organizaciji nastupa, muzičkoj recenziji, uslovima za sviranje i izdavaštvu. Voljela bih da podelim iskustva koja sam imala u bivšoj Jugoslaviji. Svakako je položaj muzičara bio lagodniji. Oko finansiranja mogla je da se nađe pomoć neke banke ili firme, dok je JAT za gostovanje u inostranstvu davao besplatne avionske karte. Ukoliko bi nastup bio deo nekog festivala, nije moralo ni o čemu da se brine. Takođe, postojale su brojne agencije koje su radile za umetnike. U Beogradu je, na primjer, to bio Jugo koncert, u Zagrebu koncertna poslovnica, dok su turističke agencije duž cele Jadranske obale sarađivale sa organizatorima umetničkih dešavanja. Sada imamo CEBEF, koji se bavi organizacijom većih festivala i manifestacija, u koje mi uglavnom ne spadamo. Bilo je i turneja po svim kontinentima koje je organizovalo i finansiralo Ministarstvo spoljnih poslova. Umetnik je bio deo te spoljne politike kao ambasador svoje zemlje. Kada smo snimali za potrebe radija, bili smo plaćeni, kada smo imali premijerne izvođenja domaćih kompozitora i to se nagrađivalo. Danas je situacija drugačija. Kako bi obezbedili finansijska sredstva, na raspolaganju su nam konkursi za sufinansiranje projekata koji se raspisuju jednom godišnje, a to su konkursi Ministarstva kulture, Sekretarijata za kulturu Beograda i Sokoja. I šta se tada događa sa umetnikom koji ne dobije sredstva? U nekim državama postoje zakon da sponsor može da umanji svoje poreze državi ukoliko deo tog novca uloži u umetnost. To je bila dobra motivacija za sponzora i dobra situacija za umetnika i o tome bi trebalo razmisliti. Ukoliko smo uspeli da obezbedimo finansijska sredstva, onda osim što pripremamo koncert, moramo da se pobrinemo o mnogim detaljima. To je veliki posao. Zakazivanje koncerata, priprema materijala za najave, plakata, programi, tekstovi za najave, eventualno pravljenje najavnog video spota, rad na intervjuima ukoliko ima zainteresovanih novinara. Sve u svemu, za jedan događaj u manjoj dvorani potrebno je uraditi sve kao da su u pitanju Kolarac ili Arena. Postoje lokalni organizatori po gradovima u Srbiji koji su uglavnom vezani za domove kultura. Oni se potrude koliko mogu, ali ne mogu da zamene profesionalne marketinške agencije koje treba platiti. Marketing danas, to je nažalost tako, izgleda da mora da bude agresivan da bi obezbedio posetioce. Zatim brojne kvalitetne koncerte koji su, znam za brojne kvalitetne koncerte koji su ostali bez publike. Ako pogledamo najave na portalima ili novinama, vidjet ćemo da su sve iste. Izuzeci su veoma retki. Novinari uglavnom preuzimaju tekst koji su dobili, o kreativnosti i stručnosti da i ne govorim. Na sreću još imamo neke prostore u medijima koji su dostupni za nas. Kulturni dnevnik RTS-a, emisije drugog programa Radio Beograda, kulturni dodatak politike. Što se tiče kritičara, gotovo da ih i nema. Mogu da pomenem Zoricu Premate, Zoricu Kojić, Miljku Isaković. Postoji i odličan portal za jugoistočnu Evropu, SE Kult, Classic Call, koji promoviše muzičare i to je uglavnom sve. Uslovi za sviranje. O situaciji u Srbiji u kojoj sam dosta svirala tužno je govoriti. Mnogi gradovi nemaju adekvatne klavire, neki imaju samo pijanine ili električne klavire. Postoji lepa ideja Ministarstva o decentralizaciji umetnosti, ali ona se sporo sprovodi. Ako su u pitanju višemedijski programi, najbolje je da ih zaboravimo jer tehničkih uslova nema. I Beograd je u deficitu sa kvalitetnim klavirima. Mogu sa sigurnošću da kažem da nijedna kamerna dvorana nema idealne uslove za koncert sa klavirom. Moje obraćanje gradonačelniku kako bih mu objasnila našu situaciju, verujući da je ne poznaje i zamolila da se ta odluka promeni, ostalo je bez odgovora. O izdavaštvu. Ako želimo da izdamo kompakt disk, minimalni tiraž je 500 primjeraka. To je tiraž koji nam nije potreban. Pored toga, potrebno je nekim kompozitorima platiti naknadu za prava na izdavanje i Narodnoj biblioteci za dobijanje ISBN broja i CIP-a, zatim štampanje knjižica, dizajnera, prevoda. Ja sam odustala od svega toga i rešila da stavljam snimke na internet ili na memorijsku karticu i onda mogu da ih poklonim. Danas možete memorijsku karticu da registrujete u Narodnoj biblioteci i legalno da je prodajete. Hvala Nadi na ovom osvrtu u prvom licu na dešavanja vezana za položaj u društvu. So now I will transfer to English. She wrote about her personal experiences as pianist and someone performing contemporary music today and in a few decades ago. She wrote about raising funds for public performance, then about organization, about musical critique and reviews, about conditions for playing and about publishing. She remembered a situation in former Yugoslavia that was much better for musicians who didn't have to take much care about travel costs, about participation on different artistic gatherings, and about possibilities to take part at festivals without worries for artists. But today, situation is different regarding finances. So she reminds us at situation that there are just a few possibilities to get grants, and thinks about possibility to do things with taxes, with companies who have lower taxes if they support people working in culture. She also wrote about difficult job of organizing concert, whether it's concert in some small hall or concert in biggest halls in Belgrade, like Kolarac or Arena. And if you want to have professional support, then you have to pay marketing agency. She also mentions places where you can still read good reviews, high quality reviews of music events. Another issue is issue of situation regarding music instruments, particularly pianos. And she had the initiative of discussing this with the Belgrade major, unfortunately without success. And finally, about publications, about publishing, she mentioned a situation about number of copies, 500 copies for CD, which is a really high number for musicians in Serbia. So she decided to record music on USB or other portable units, computer units, or to put her music directly on internet. So if she has these portable units like USBs, they can be registered at National Library, and she gives them as presents to persons she likes to, she wants to. So I'm really sorry we couldn't have the Zoom connection with Nada. I'm sure it would sound completely different if she told this, but it's good to hear another opinion. And now we are back here with our very important partner, Radio Television Serbia, and Secretary General of Radio Television Serbia, Marijana Gojković, will tell us something about how this huge institution takes care about musicians.
Dobar dan svima. Pozdravljam skup. Ispred javne medijske ustanove Radio Televizije Srbije prvo bih istakla da je među zaposlenima u ustanovi jako veliki broj diplomiranih master muzičara kao i doktora nauka. To je za nas veoma važno, uzimajući u obzir da je muzika prisutna u svim programskim sadržajima, od kulturno-umetničkih, obrazovno-naučnih, zabavnih svakako, ali i do informativnog programa, kao podloga za emisije, kao kulisna muzika, kroz špice, džinglove. Muzičari su u Radio Televiziji Srbiji zaposleni kao muzički urednici, muzički producenti, kao saradnici, novinari, izvođači, voditelji, i oni sviraju u svim ansamblima muzičke produkcije RTS-a, kreiraju muzičke sadržaje od dokumentarnih i do emisija zabavnog karaktera, izveštavaju sa terena, sa događaja, takođe snimaju i organizuju koncerte. Što se tiče ovog projekta, na kom je Radio Televizija Srbije partner, istakla bih da je ovakvih organizovanih praksi sa fakultetima muzičkih umetnosti i na način na koji omogućuje ovaj projekat do sada nije bilo, tako da smo veoma zahvalni ovom projektu. Prakse su bile dobre. U razgovorima sa studentima smo došli do veoma bitnih informacija po ustanovu, a detaljnije o samom praksi će govoriti koleginica Nikoleta Dojčinović, koja je odgovorni urednik muzičke redakcije prvog programa Radio Beograda. Kratko i toliko od mene.
So Mrs. Gojković, Secretary General of Radio Television Serbia, was talking about position of musicians in these institutions, and there are lots of musicians employed of different levels, so graduated, master and PhD, doctoral, people with PhD or artistic doctorate are employed at Radio Television Serbia as editors, as producers, as performers, as journalists, as people announcing program, and having lots of responsibilities and actually possibilities to do many different things, particularly creating new content and making new initiatives. She also said something about collaboration within the DEMUSIS project and student placements within the project as a new and very valuable experience, both for institutions and students. So I'm really glad that RTS also had positive feedback or used or plans to use feedback from students for its own internal development. Thank you very much. And now Nikoleta Dojčinović.
I'll speak in Serbian. I'm not quite sure will I speak enough good, and that will I explain everything on the way that I really want, then you can translate for a while. Možda ću početi ovu priču sa neka dva primera, da kažem, koliko je muzičar prisutan u medijima, posebno u Radio-televiziji Srbije. Kada pitate, da kažem, možda istoričare ili tako, oni koji pišu o medijima, šta je prvo emitovano na televiziji? Odgovor će biti dnevnik, vrlo verovatno. Ajmo još jedan puta, šta je prvo emitovano na televiziji? To je bila špica. Dakle, tu špicu je neko morao da komponuje ili je uzeto neko parče i tako dalje. Dakle, muzičar je prisutan i u tako tim malim formatima od početka bilo kog medija koji počne da radi. Sljedeći primjer je možda, mi smo sada nedavno imali radio susretanja, u susret 98. rođendanu Radio Beograda, koji je jedan od najstarijih elektronskih medija na Balkanu. 3 koncerta smo organizovali po Srbiji, Čajetini, Sremskoj Mitrovici i Beogradu. I tu su bili angažovani muzičari, diplomirani muzičari na različite načine. Dakle, to su bili članovi Narodnog ansambla, zatim članovi Big Band orkestra muzičke produkcije RTS-a. Takođe su muzički urednici bili angažovani, to iz prvog programa Radio Beograda, iz muzičke redakcije. 2 od njih su recimo bili i voditelji, pisali scenarijom, odlazili u medije da najavljuju koncerte, birali i dogovarali sa muzičarima taj program kako će biti. Takođe smo imali još 2 kolega koji su izveštavali sa ovih događaja. Takođe su brinuli da taj prenos bude na Radio Beogradu adekvatan, dakle da uvedu prenos, da odjave, da napišu najave za sajt i tako dalje, tako dalje. Dakle, muzičar u Radio-televiziji Srbije ima zaista jednu ozbiljnu odgovornost, kao i ceo RTS, a to je ne samo da bude informativan, jer mi smo javni servis, zabavan, već i edukativan. I to je ono što je u stvari najvažnije u tom nekom smislu, zašto je važno da muzičar bude obrazovan na fakultetima muzičke umetnosti, jer mi imamo tu jednu drugu dozu i nivo odgovornosti nego što su možda neke druge radio ili televizijske stanice. Što se same prakse tiče u okviru ovog projekta, mi smo imali 2 puta po 5 studenta, 10 radnih dana ili 2 nedelje, i to je bilo vrlo zanimljivo kako su, to je vrlo kratak period zapravo, gde su oni mogli samo da sagledaju koji je to veliki obim poslova koji postoje u Radio-televiziji Srbije, dakle i u televiziji i u radiju. I mislim da bi se praksa pokazala veoma uspešnom i vrlo važnom, jer meni je bio zanimljiv jedan razgovor sa jednom devojkom kad sam je pitala, dobro, bi ti volela da radiš, evo dođi, mislim, sviđa mi se kako pišeš i tako. A ona je rekla, pa znate, ja ne znam da li bih bila pre profesor ili bih radila u radiju. Dakle, praksa je jedno zaista dobro mesto, posebno u RTS-u koji neguje i klasičnu muziku, dakle umetničku muziku, da pre svega ti studenti, budući naši sugrađani, saznaju čime žele da se bave i na koji način žele da se bave. Praksa bi trebala po meni da bude nešto duža, zato što bi možda oni sagledali koji je to tačno segment koji bi ih interesovao i gde bi možda se više posvetili baš samo tom segmentu rada. Postoje neki fakulteti koji imaju, da kažem, te redovne prakse, mislim da je to fakultet za novinarstvo, možda fakultet dramskih umetnosti i tako, i možda bi to bio dobar način da se sagleda kako se to radi i da u nekoj budućnosti budemo, da kažem, jedno ozbiljno mesto gde muzičari, diplomirani muzičari mogu da nastave svoj rad. Takođe, mislim da bi bilo dobro da dođe do nekog približavanja upravo kroz te prakse akademskih ustanova sa nama koji smo u praksi, jer kao neko ko je takođe diplomirani muzičar, sam shvatila i moj taj prelaz sa fakulteta, pre svega prvo na televiziju, sada i na radio, pokazalo da tu postoji jedan izvesni jaz kako ući u ceo taj posao. I za neki posao je bilo potrebno, čak posle kada sam imala neke honorarce, i po godinu dana da oni uđu u taj posao i da se osamostale. Tako da, bilo bi dobro, mi imamo takođe negde 14 doktora nauka u okviru RTS-a, među njima je, mislim, dvoje, troje, četvoro muzičara, da bi na neki način da ide u susret i akademske zajednice ka RTS-u i RTS-a ka akademskoj zajednici i da bi to možda moglo da bude neko mesto kao, neću reći klinički centar za lekare, ali u tom nekom smislu kao jedno dobro mesto za edukaciju kako to treba pristupiti organizovanju koncerta i koji su to zapravo sadržaji koji se pružaju publici, jer ne možemo samo pružati sadržaje koje publika želi i voli, već i nešto što možda treba da zavoli. Jel to, mislim da sam otprilike rekla, dakle, Radio Televizija Srbije, zaista muzičari su prisutni, nas je negde skoro do 10% zaposlenih, a i mi smo kao ustanova vrlo društveno odgovorni. Recimo u redakciju koju sam odgovorni urednik je jedan slaboviti, skoro slepi kolega koji je završio muzičku akademiju i koji je vrlo uključen u rad naše redakcije i koji doprinosi u toj nekoj, da kažem, obimu koliko on to može. Eto, hvala lepo. Kaže Bilja, reci ko je bio najbolji muzički urednik. Mislim, ja sam Bilje otišla neposredno, pošto sam ja došla za urednika.
Thank you very much, Nikoleta. So briefly, Nikoleta was talking about history of television in Serbia and about the first thing that was broadcasted on television. It was not news, but introductory music. So there are about 10% of employees of Radio Television Serbia are musicians of different education. I mean different genres. And she was also talking about responsibility of working in Radio Television Serbia in terms of maintain high level of professionalism and being informative, but also being having entertaining content. We heard from Nikoleta a few words about practical placements of students, about 2 circles of placements lasting 2 weeks, I mean 10 days. And she had a few suggestions regarding future cooperation, regarding first length of the placements. In her opinion, it should last longer and offer students possibility not just to observe, but to participate or learn by doing. And about closer cooperation between academic institutions and Radio Television Serbia. She actually mentioned the gap between academic knowledge and practical requirements of persons coming from, in this transition from academia to practical job in Radio Television Serbia. So thank you very much, Nikoleta. I will invite our dear guest from Mad Head Games, Dimitrije Cvetković, head of audio department.
Thank you. I'll talk in English because I want to make things easier for you and Dušanka. So my name is Dimitrije Cvetković, and today I'm speaking here on behalf of a video game development studio called Mad Head Games, which I work at. And first of all, on behalf of Mad Head Games, I want to thank Professor Jovana Perković and project administrator Dušanka Jelković-Vidović for inviting Mad Head Games to participate in this project. And also, I personally am very grateful to be included in this group of respected fellow speakers. So I'd like to briefly summarize how Mad Head Games participated in the DEMUSIS project. So, as I said, Mad Head Games is a video game development studio. It's a Serbian studio. We have 5 offices in Belgrade, Novi Sad, and also in Sarajevo, opened recently. We have close to 150 employees, and we have an in-house audio team, which consists of graduated sound designers and composers. My current position at Mad Hat Games is head of audio, and my main responsibility on this position is to make sure that all of the sound that goes into one of our games, actually each of our games, so all music, all sound effects, all recorded dialogue is produced, recorded, and implemented in the game on time, and that it achieves a certain level of quality that we're aiming for. So in order for me to be able to guarantee such a level of quality, obviously I need a team of highly skilled, educated people working as sound designers and composers. And it is my responsibility to evaluate the performance of our in-house audio team and to decide when we need to hire new people, new sound designers, new composers. So as a consequence of that, in the last couple of years, I've been very strongly in touch with the talent pool of sound designers and composers in Serbia. And a running theme that's been reoccurring is that there are a lot of young people who are finishing their studies at higher education institution, or they have finished their education and they want to work in game audio, but they haven't received any kind of formal education related to game audio. So it's interesting to me because it's very similar to what my fellow speaker Nikoleta just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, that there's this gap between academic knowledge and what's needed to work in the video game industry. So what we tried to do as part of the DEMUSIS project is to even a little bridge that gap between academic knowledge and the practical knowledge of what it's needed for a musician or a composer to start working in the video games industry. So the way we did that is we had 2 circles of student placements during September and November of 2021, respectively. We had 17 students participate in total. And during these placements, we had very practical sessions where we talked about how a game production process looks, and specifically how it looks to produce music for a game, how it looks to conceptualize a vision for music for one specific game. So students were given very specific, very practical tasks related to creating an example of music direction snippet or suggestion, and also some students worked on actually implementing their own music in the game. What I think we've been able to do is to broaden the view of these students about what are all the ways in which they could participate in the video game industry. And also Mad Hat Games, I think, has got a better understanding of the currently used curricula and the student profiles, so what students are actually being taught in universities and what we can expect from students who are graduating from musical faculties. And in the future, again, similar to what Nikoleta said, I think it would be very good to have recurring circles of student placements where students would be periodically be able to work with us and get a better insight into what it is that we do. I mean, more often than just 2 circles that we already had. So I'm really looking forward to further cooperating with institutions of higher education for music in Serbia, and we as Mad Hat Games, as a game development studio, will give our best to transfer as much practical knowledge as we can.
Thank you very much, Dimitrije. and also colleagues from RTS, because it's always valuable to hear inputs from non-academic partners. And we might, and in further steps, we don't have too much time until the end of the project, but there are some ideas about how to continue our cooperation and how to make some steps toward making things closer or seamless. So may you just announce your plans regarding your involvement with this event and this debate?
Yeah, so in the last couple of weeks or even months, we discussed some ways in which Medhead Games can further add some value to this project. So we came up with an idea how to present the final works of students for this project in the shape of an interactive app, which is still in development, but will be available sometime soon after the end of this project.
Thank you very much. So we saved the best for last. Our students, talking about student-centeredness and about working with students and project dedicated to student education, and now the floor is offered to students. So now I will invite Bojana Vojić, students of Academy of Arts in Novi Sad, who will present the work of one group of students working in Center for Elderly People.
My name is Bojana. I will speak in, of course, I will speak in my team. One is sitting there, it's Tijana, Maya and Maria. So I will try to be as short as possible. Our project took place in elderly people's home. And so we decided to name it Music Collage of Memories. And our main idea behind that project is to make like a collage of different genres and time periods of music that they know and they can enjoy. So the first block of our program was film and music. Bless you. Movie and film music. The second part was our traditional, traditional songs, but that are like more sadder. And the last part was traditional music from Novi Sad and Vojvodina, and they could sing. So we talked to the manager in the retirement's home, and she said that they have a choir section. So that was like a big plus for us, because we implemented that traditional songs in our program. We didn't have any obstacles in our project, because we all get along very well. So I would like to say something about that movie that we will play, because first the idea was to play something, but to play some of our program, but I think it is a better idea, and we agreed on that, that we play the movie, because it will much better explain what we did there. So we wanted to set an example what can be done in just a few days to bring attention to all our elderly people, not just here in Novi Sad, but in the rest of Serbia, because you who are from here know that that situation and position of elderly people is really tough. So we wanted to send a message to other cultural institutions to include us as a music students or high school students of music, anybody, artists of any kind, to bring them something to enjoy, because they are all like in routine. They are quite sick. They are quite old. They can't go outside. Their families, they live abroad or something, or they don't have anyone but each other. So we need to somehow include them in society again. So in the video, you will see something that left a really great impression on us. A woman that had a stroke, and she can't speak. She only can say names of her children, and she can move only left part of her body, and she still sang the loudest and tried to like move her hands, and so you will see it on the video. And we gathered impressions. At the end, we don't have that paper, I think, in that moment here. We made a collage of their impressions on papers. Some of the comments was, I can't stop tears of happiness, thank you, and so on. You can only imagine what we did to them. They were all happy. A lot of them were crying during our performance, and in the end they were singing and clapping, and we did more than we expected, and I'm so proud of 3 of them. I don't know, maybe you should play the video, so I finished talking. Thank you.
Bojana, very nice. Jovana Aleksić, student of Faculty of Philology and Arts. She will present their project, and we will have possibility to hear her colleagues playing. So Jelena Stanković and Viktor Tanaskovski will play the music that was performed in their project.
Well, first, I want to say good afternoon to everybody, and our project was called Music as a Universal Language. So we were performing at the Faculty of Philosophy in Novi Sad in front of university professors. The main idea behind our project was to transfer the message that no matter what language you speak, no matter what your profession is, the only language that is understandable is music, and the music is one of the most powerful and the strongest strings that connects people nowadays when people are estranged on the highest level. So I must say that it was an immeasurable honor and joy and pleasure to be working with my colleagues who are quality artists, and on top of that, quality people. So I must say thank you to Viktor, Jelena, Igor, and Bojan. So nowadays, musicians, especially classical musicians, as you know, are facing challenges and obstacles in terms of organization and technical stuff that is needed to organize a concert. And I think we're kind of underestimated. So by doing this project and by participating in the DEMUSIS program, I think that we learned that musicians are with good teamwork, good organization skills, and good approach to audience is indeed heard and seen and is not invisible. So yeah, that's it from me. Thank you.
So Jelena and Viktor will play Igra by Stanojlo Rajičić. Thank you so much, Jelena and Viktor, for bringing live music here at this event. Now I would like to invite Nikola Nejčev, representative of the next group, who will say something about their project. Nikola is a student of the Faculty of Philology in Belgrade.
So my team was having a plan to do one music workshop in kindergarten. The group member is Alexandra, who studied musicology in Faculty of Novi Sad, Stefan, who studied composition of Faculty of Belgrade, and Jefimija, who is sick and she plays bassoon. So our idea, or our first impression of doing concert or workshop in kindergarten was like, we think that from youngest age, children must have live contact with music, with instruments. So our name project was Kids Meet Instruments. We have very interesting impression of that kid. So first day we have talked with the teacher in kindergarten, and we will decide to not have classical concert or something like that. We want to those kids can touch instrument, can play instruments. So maybe that kids will like to go to music school or maybe become professional musicians. So we do workshop where the main gift was singing along with them and play instruments. So I think that our project was very important because in some ways we understand that kids in those ages, it's like a sponge. They don't have filters, so music, who's come to them, it's like forever in their mind. So we would like to try to implant classical music or something that's, let's say, pure beauty of art to be in their minds and maybe change their lives. So that's all for it. And now we will see film about it.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Lepo ste to osmislili. Moje dete su se stvarno oduševila, prvi put se neki susreću uopšte sa ovim muzičkim instrumentom i nama je jako značilo, baš konkretno za moju grupu, zato što mi radimo projekat zvuk, tako da će nam ovo mnogome pomoći. Deca su stvarno oduševljena, ušla u sobu, pričaju, odmah čak i jedno dete uplakano, ona je tela još da ostane. Bilo je malo.
Thank you very much. Now I will invite, I forgot my microphone. I will invite Milica Petrović, student of the Faculty of Music in Belgrade, and Milena Radović, student of Faculty of Philology and Arts, to present their project. This is the fourth group.
Good evening, everyone. We will speak in front of our group, whose members are Milica, Jovana, Jelena, and the two of us. Well, Jovana is not here, but we think about her. So, I'm sorry. Our playground was shelter, so we was thinking that a good idea will be to call our project Shelter by Music. The main idea was actually to give those children a feel of safeness and to show them how we can all make bonds between all of us. We had, as many other groups, some problems, but I think the strong motivation and empathy were the brightness of this whole project. One of our idea was to show that these people from unique group, they are completely equally with us, and that we can, with music, bring them good feeling, and they can see that different kind of music can unique them. So that was challenging for us too, because we perform some different genres we didn't used to, and we step out from our comfort zone. So we'll learn a lot through this week and make really good memories.
And the interesting thing about our group is that we needed some time to really build a connection with each other, and by some time I mean 1 day and a half maybe, so not that much time. And I think we can all agree as a group that we know the exact moment when that happened, and it was actually the second day of rehearsals when we were playing together a traditional song called Aidejano. And we felt this magical energy, and in one moment we just connected, and from that point everything went smoothly and only up for us. So you heard me mention the song Aidejano because it was the part of our repertoire, and we built the repertoire to be educational but also fun for the audience, for the children, and we included some really famous classical music pieces, also some pop song and music from movies, and also traditional songs. And we needed to choose really wisely because we didn't have much time for the actual performance, and we also wanted to include them and talk to them and show them instruments, so we needed to be really good at time management. But I think we did a good job because I think kids loved it, and as our guest from Norway perfectly, in my opinion, said it, it isn't really about the perfection, it is about the audience and connecting with the audience. And I wouldn't add anything to that. So, also I want to say that it is a really great pleasure to be here to work with these wonderful people, not just the students, but also the mentors and people from the Netherlands, and they are not here, but we really connected on another level, and this is an experience that I will remember for a lifetime. And now you will see the video, and I truly hope you will enjoy it, because actually no one from our group knows how to make videos, how to prepare it, and we really tried our best, and we stayed up till 3 a.m., so I think that is enough for you to enjoy it, please.
Well, all these videos were defined length of 19 seconds, but they were all full of content and emotions, if I may say. We have completed 2 hours of our public debate. But I would like to ask you, are there any questions from live audience or perhaps from online audience? Yes, please.
Pa jeste i platforma. Emisiju koju sam ja radila, kada sam radila izvorišta, najviše sam u stvari, najviše sam dobijala materijala u stvari iz izdavačkih kuća. Jedna od njih je ARC Music, oni zaista imaju jako veliki i veoma bogatu ponudu. Tako da mislim tu može svašta da se nađe, ali zaista iz čitavog sveta. I ono od onih nekih kompozicija jako bliskih izvoru do nekih kao eto modernijih izdanja. Ali eto, topla preporuka ARC Music iz Londona.
Đurđijana Jovanović tu i dalje, pošto je ne vidim. Ne mogu da vidimo da li. Pošto je za njom.
Mogu ja? Dobro večer svima. Moje ime je Jovana Aleksić. Došao sam na Akademiju umetnosti u Novom Sadu, studijski program muzička produkcija. Pitanje je za Dimitrija Cvetkovića iz Mad Head Gamesa. Ono što me zanima jeste na koji način bi bilo najbolje da se mladi kompozitori za medije, odnosno oni koji žele to da postanu i da se afirmišu na taj način, mogu da se ostvare, odnosno da plasiraju svoje kreacije, kako u okviru Mad Head Gamesa, kao udruženja za koje, eto, prvi put večeras čujem, ali pretpostavljam da radite punom parom i da radite zaista divne stvari, a i inače na našim prostorima i po mogućnosti možda internacionalno. Koji je vaš savjet?
Hvala. Dakle, ajde i da ustanem. Najveća razlika u komponovanju za druge medije, za film, bilo da je igrani ili dokumentarni ili za neke televizijske forme, je u tome što su video igre software, je li tako? Tako da je zapravo pravljanje muzike za video igre velikim delom i razvoj softvera. To je bitno je da muzičar koji učestvuje u pravljanju muzike za video igru, bilo da je to instrumentalista ili kompozitor, razume neka osnovna ograničenja i neke potrebe razvoja za softver. Bilo da su to tehnička ograničenja audio formata u kom se eksportuje ili kako se zapravo muzika implementira u igri. Tako da ne bih previše dužio, odgovor mi je da je potrebno da kompozitor dokaže da razume na koji način se komponovanje za igre razlikuje od komponovanja za medije, a to može da uradi kroz neku vrstu portfolija, neku vrstu showreela takozvanog, koji opet može da uradi tako što će da uzme neki od demo projekata za određene softvere u kojima se prave igre, takozvane game engine, i da onda u njima uradi vrlo jednostavan demo projekat gde će pokazati da razume zapravo tu problematiku, jer svaki studiju za razvoj videoigara želi kod ljudi koji se prijavljuju da vidi da oni zapravo razume zašto se prijavljuju, da razumeju koja je problematika koja je vedena za taj posao. Tako da, nadam se da to odgovara na pitanje.
Ja bih da ustanem, pošto ne znam da me vidite. Imam pitanje za vas, Đurđijana, pošto ste vi iz Ministarstva kulture. Ovo će pitanje biti možda malo duže i bit će vezano i za Bilju Krstić, koju jako poštujem kao umetnicu i drago mi je da su tu i predstavnici RTS-a takođe. Zato što pre nekoliko meseci sam pročitala vest da se, mislim, u Narodnoj arhivi Narodne biblioteke da propadaju, da su našli neku kutiju sa propalim zapisima etnomuzikologa od pre 100 godina i da su nekako slučajno spasili kutiju i jedna od umetnica, nisam sigurna koja je tačno u pitanju, zaboravila sam, je to uspela da spasi i da nekako izvede na nekoliko koncerata. I sad moje pitanje, pošto to se dotiče isto i vas kao osobu koja se bavi tradicionalnom muzikom, a i vas kao neko ko je ovde ispred Ministarstva kulture, ko vodi računa o tome, pošto, mislim, pre 100 godina je bilo bombardovanje narodne, izvinjam se, ako mogu samo...
Tema je jedna jako važna koju smo mi osvetlili u prethodnom periodu, a to je zapravo zaštita muzičkog blaga Srbije. Tako da ćemo u narednom periodu preduzeti izvesne mere i aktivnosti vezane primarno u sektoru zaštite kulturnog nasleđa i digitalizacije, koji će svakako doprineti unapređenju statusa i očuvanja tog nematerijalnog kulturnog blaga. Tako da, hvala ti na tom pitanju, ono je zaista onako pogodilo pravo u metu i poklopila su nam se interesovanje i namere koje ćemo činiti u narednom periodu.
Dobro, drago mi je da čujem da zapravo se radi nešto...
Takođe, trebaš da znaš da u okviru sektora za savremeno stvaralaštvo, pa vezano i za oblast muzika, a i narodne igre, imamo tradicionalnu narodnu igru u okviru umetničke igre. Mi smo pojem umetničke igre definisali vezujući se za obrazovne profile iz baletskih igračkih škola i onda smo tu klasifikovali na klasičan balet, na narodnu igru i savremenu igru. Taj segment koji se zove narodna igra, gde zapravo vi muzičari svirate, igrači igraju, a boga mi i pevaju, suštinski je dovelo do toga da smo prepoznali bitnost razdvajanja stvaralaca i izvođača u ove dve oblasti, gde oni spadaju, gde je ta tanka crta gde savremeno stvaralaštvo počinje ili počinje zaštita muzičkog blaga, gde ćemo, primjer radi, koga svrstati gde, tako da smo mi već uveliko u ozbiljnoj saradnji sa našim odsekom za etnomuzikologiju, etnokorologiju Fakulteta muzičke umetnosti u Beogradu, sa namerom da te pojmove determinišemo i da u narednom periodu takođe uvedemo i neke nove predmete koje će dati doprinos očuvanju nematerijalnog blaga, u ovom slučaju muzičkog.
Redo, hvala vam. Ako može samo još jedno brzo pitanje.
Reci.
Takođe, pošto ja dolazim iz jednog manjeg grada, i sada mene zanima da li...
A samo mi reci iz kog?
Iz Valjeva.
O, divno, divno. Ja sam iz Vrnjačke Banje, da.
Eto, blizu smo, tako kažem.
Tako je. Mi smo naši, pritom, što vi studenti trebate da znate, dakle, ja sam završila Fakultet muzičke umetnosti u Beogradu i imala sam prethodnih iskustava u raznim situacijama, a sad razim kao državni činovnik. Ono što sam htela da vam kažem, da me muzičko obrazovanje jako doprino, na primjer, radi strukturiranju i praćenju budžeta. Dakle, znanja koje mi stičemo na fakultetu i u muzičkim školama su toliko širokopojasna da dok ne počnete nešto da radite, vi suštinski ne znate kako ste obrazovanje stekli. Meni je otkrilo to da ja fantastično baratam budžetima i ciframa, a u stvari ja sam se onda setila da je to zbog naših partitura. Tako da, kako bih vam rekla, muzika kojom smo se obrazovali nas je učinila da smo zaista svestrana ličnosti. Reci, Mili.
To pitanje.
istorijski muzej i tu je, oni inače imaju koncert u muzeju, ciklus koncerata i zaista jesu pronašli te note. Ansambli, odnosno muzička produkcija RTS-a je odreagovala odmah i krajem ovog meseca treba da bude koncert, bilo je planirano nešto ranije tokom leta već da bude koncert u Belom dvoru, ali je pomerano i mislim da će biti, ukoliko znam, u Narodnom pozorištu, mislim 30. ovog meseca. Dakle, upravo te partiture, te kompozicije koje su pronađene i naravno to će biti snimljeno i pohranjeno u arhivu Radio Beograd. Da, i čuće se na prvom programu Radio Beograda.
Bojana, ja bih se molila sada za jedno sažeto i koncizno
Jeste, sažeto je.
Koncizan odgovor, s obzirom na to da smo već u 3. satu debate.
Da li Ministarstvo kulture ima neko regulatorno telo ili kao neku kontrolu kvaliteta? Ko su ti ljudi koji su direktori domova kulture, ko organizuje program? Zato što ja lično gledam posljednjih 15 godina festivala letnjeg Valjevskog tešnjarske večeri kako polako propada i dovode tako neke razne...
Došli smo do one teme koju sam u jednom trenutku zaista spomenula i vi ste shvatili zapravo tek kroz ovo pitanje šta sam htela da kažem, a to je edukacija studenta umetničkih fakulteta o instrumentima podrške koje državni aparat pruža i načine na koji sprovodi i kreira javne politike, između ostalog i kulturne politike. Tako da morat ćemo zajedno da radimo na tome da se i vi edukujete, a i mi da biste razumeli, da kažemo, pravila igre, sprovođenja i kreiranja kulturnih politika.
Hvala, Đurđijana. Thank you very much, Đurđijana. Well, it's time to finish, but I would like to really to make some strong points, not to leave this discussion, this very rich discussion with so many wonderful thoughts and participants empty. Like we talked about many things, but what did we conclude? What do we want with this? What are our wishes? So we want to send really strong message to many different instances about our position and our importance. I will give you a word, just let me complete my sentence. So we would like to claim for an action on different levels. We want to work towards support and recognition and to promotion and to foster musicianship. So our message goes to state authorities. Đurđijana is hearing us very well, and our Ministry of Culture is hearing us very well. So academic musicians as active agents in society should be recognized. And state authorities should help in sustainability of careers of academic musicians. Then there is a message to our academic community, to higher music education institutions, that should react to constant changes a bit faster than they regularly do. Things are changing very fast and we should react to it promptly. Then there is a message to professional stakeholders or future employers to be more open towards engagement of artists, not to make such strong borders between artists and other members of society, of academic society. And then to academic musicians or to musicians, we realized through your project that it's not important to have huge funds and huge sums of money to make some changes and to make some steps that are really important for your careers, but also for our society. Local or global. And also we have a message for society and global to be more open to possibilities that musicians can offer. Would you like to add something to this? Yes.
We all want to make connections for a lifetime, I guess. So, thank you for an opportunity to meet new people that we can work later with.
Well, thank you very much for sharing that thought with us. And the length of this debate shows me that we need to meet more often in different ambience and in different contexts, but we need to talk. It's very important. So thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you all speakers. Thank you all in the audience.